are listening to Balloon Killers. I'm your host, Chrissy Riley, and each episode I'll be talking to someone from the world of cowboy mounted shooting, which is one of the most exciting and fastest growing equestrian sports. Hold on to your hats because it's going to get western. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to the very first Balloon Killers episode of 2026. I hope that you're having a good New Year so far. And if you've already been shooting, I hope that you started the year as you meant to go on and that it was a good shoot for you. I'm a bit of a glutton for punishment, so I started my 2026 with the 75 Hard Fitness Challenge. It's basically 75 days of a certain set of routines, no cheat days, no days off. The first thing I have to do each day is I have to work out twice a day for a minimum of 45 minutes each time, and one of those workouts has to be outdoors. So Colorado friends, you are likely to see me tramping around a car park or around an arena wearing my weight vest for 45 minutes at a lunchtime or something to try and get that extra workout in. The second thing I have to do is I have to follow some kind of healthier eating diet and no alcohol. The third thing is I have to drink a gallon of water, and that has been the hardest thing for me so far. I thought I drank a lot of water, but it turns out I didn't drink nearly anything like a gallon. So that one's been a struggle for me, but I'm getting it done. And the fourth thing is I have to read an informational book for 10 minutes each day, a minimum of 10 minutes each day, some kind of self-development book. And it can't be an audiobook, you actually have to read it. So hopefully by the time you watch or listen to this, I'm still on the wagon and I'm still doing this because that's only 9 days in. And I'm really hoping that I make it the 75 days because I'm looking forward to the health and fitness gains that I'm hopefully going to see. My guest for this episode was the 2025 ACMSA Ladies Level 1 State Champion. She was the Ladies A Eliminator Champion at the 2025 CMSA Western Championships in Vegas, and she was also in the top 5 Ladies 1s at the 2025 CMSA Winter Championships. Tayler Bicandi is the Chief Social Strategist with Encanto Sports Group, where she leads digital storytelling for top Western athletes and brands, including Shad Mayfield, Anna Buffini, and Mars Equestrian. She's worked at major events like the Run for a Million, the NRCHA Snafflebit Futurity, the Kentucky 3-day event, and the National Finals Rodeo. Hi, Tayler.
Hi, how's it going?
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. I cannot believe it's 2026.
I know, right? Did you do anything fun for New Year's Eve? Did you stay up late?
We actually stayed up late watching the last episode of Stranger Things.
Oh,
It's funny enough, I was supposed to go over to my trainer Laura's house and a couple other friends, but around 6 o'clock, my husband got home and we were like, you know what? We're just gonna hang back and like we're not even gonna stay up till midnight anyway, which we did end up doing, but that's kind of a not typical thing for us to do. So
the first question I always ask everybody is, tell us how you got into mounted shooting.
yeah, so actually, I knew about the sport of mounted shooting a while before I actually got into it. So, around, I want to say maybe 2021, 2022, I was photographing Western events in Kentucky, like barrel races, amateur rodeo, junior rodeo. And I had a gal reach out to me. Her name's Amanda Hudson. She's actually still shooting. I saw her at Worlds this year and it was really cool. She reached out to me on Facebook and she was like, hey, you should try to sell your videos and your photos at this cowboy mounted shooting event. And I was like most people are like, oh, cowboy mounted shooting, what is that? And she sent me some photos and videos, and I was like, oh my God, I have to go check this out. So there's actually a lot of clubs in Kentucky, which is really surprising. But I went to my first event, and of course, like everyone, I fell in love and was like, this is the coolest thing you can do on horseback. Like, you cannot convince me otherwise. So I was introduced to the sport that early on, and then fast forward, what was it? I got started in 2024, so I haven't been doing it that long. But I moved from Kentucky to Arizona, and that's like a big hub for mounted shooting. And
Mhm.
when I moved my horse over from Kentucky to Arizona in October of 2024, I found this really great barn like 15 minutes from my house, and that's how I met my current trainer, Laura Grazier. And she was just offering really affordable boarding and had a great facility. She's got an arena like in her backyard and she and I just like hit it off right off the bat. And so I knew it was going to be a good fit. And I didn't necessarily think that I was going to get into mounted shooting. I just wanted a good place to go and enjoy my horse. And I'm trying to think. So that was October. And I think in April, just like on a whim, I'd seen her kind of competing in the winter time. You know, it kind of picks up here in the winter. She was gone like every
Mhm.
weekend at shoots and jackpots. And I was like, well, that seems kind of fun. You know, I could meet new people. And my horse at the time, my horse still, Roy, he is just a super chill guy and he's never really had a real job in his life. He was a trail horse. And I was like, maybe I'll just give her a try. So I was on the plane actually on a business trip and I texted Laura before we took off and was like, hey, like how much would it cost me to like have you help me gun break my horse? Because she'd brought it up to me in the past, you know, like, oh, would you ever consider it? You know, I think Roy would be really great at it. And I was like, no, like he's just a trail horse. Like he's a little bit spooky at weird things. I don't think he's gonna take to it very well, but on a whim, I was like, I think he needs a job. You know, his mind was getting a little extra spooky, and I think he was like 15 at the time. I was like, I think he needs a job, and I texted her, and immediately she was like, well, let's get started when you get back. And I guess the rest is kind of history. That next week, she had me dry firing at the house, and then that following week, her and my friend Bridget took me to an arena, and she was just helping me gun break him and he took to it super easily and by the end of that lesson I was loping a pattern and I really didn't think much of it. I was like, "Oh, I'll just get into it really slowly and maybe I'll do my first shoot in like 6 months or something." And like a month later I was at a jackpot and then 2 months later I was at my first CMSA shoot and that same year I was at Winters and so it just kind of happened like that and never really turned back.
It's kind of an interesting sport in that way because your story is pretty common in that people tend to compete relatively early in mounted shooting, perhaps compared to other sports, which I
Yeah.
think is kind of interesting. What was your background in horses? You mentioned that Roy was a Roy was a trail horse,
Hmm.
but what was your background in horses and shooting before mounted shooting?
Yeah, so I've done a little bit of everything. I've been riding since I was about 5 years old, and I'm almost 30 now. So I've done a little bit of everything. I started out barrel racing back in Oregon, where I grew up, and then when I got into college, I did the Western horsemanship, just like the, really proper. And I did a lot of catch riding. I rode on my college equestrian team. And what we did was we traveled around to different schools and they would provide the horses at the horse show and you would have to just catch ride a horse, which
Hmm.
was crazy and like made me a really good rider. And then I transitioned into riding paint horses, like on the APHA circuit. So I did Hunter Under Saddle, I did Western Pleasure. Um, that was kind of boring. I didn't stick with that for very long. And then what did I do after that? After college, I kind of took a little bit of a hiatus. Horses are so expensive, and I was living on my own in Kentucky, and I didn't have the time and I didn't have the money. So I took probably like, and I know this doesn't seem like very long, but for me, riding all my life, like a year and a half to 2 years, I didn't have a horse, I didn't ride. And then when I met my husband, his sister at the time was doing high school rodeo, and so I kind of got back into it a little bit, and I was like, I competed all my life. I don't really want to jump back into that. It's so expensive, and it's just I love competing, but I just wanted something really chill, and that's why I bought Roy. He was just a good old trail horse. He was born on a ranch and just a family horse his whole life, and that's kind of how I got back into it. But that's kind of my little bit of everything story.
And he's got some speed. Roy has some speed. I've seen that with my own eyes.
It's crazy. I mean, none of us really expected it. Again, like I got him on a ranch in Kentucky. I pulled him out of a pasture, and he was 14 years old. Like I said, never had a job, and yeah, the whole him being amazing at mounted shooting is just like beyond my wildest dreams. He loves it, and he's so good at it. It's just crazy. I
You,
found like a unicorn, literally.
you both are very good at it.
Thank you. He does most of the work. I like to joke that like if he could hold the guns, he would probably be a level 6 by now, and like I'm the one holding him back from being better.
As most of us often are.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Well, I heard about you because I saw some of your fantastic videos on social media of mounted shooters and also of the calf roping legend, Shad Mayfield. How did you get into media and video?
I've been into it for quite a while. It started technically back in college. So I went to the University of Oregon and I was studying advertising and business at the time. And I kind of just randomly fell into photography and videography and fell in love with it, got a camera, and I just picked up shooting for my college equestrian team. I just took over their social media. I got a couple internships and just kind of learned on the job. And then after college, I got a really great internship with the U.S. Equestrian Federation, and that's why I moved to Lexington, Kentucky. It was a 3-month internship. I had no idea like what it was like over there. I'd never lived outside of Oregon in my whole life, so that was kind of a gamble, and it was the best one. It paid off so well. I got two amazing mentors out of it, my two bosses. One of which that I work for and work with now, my best friend Taylor. And so I worked at US Equestrian for about 2 years, and then 2021 I kind of branched off and did my own thing as far as just event photography, and I did more like rodeo stuff and barrel racing because I grew up riding Western and that's what I wanted to be involved in. And then 2023 rolled around, and my best friend and mentor, Taylor Pence, she branched off from US Equestrian and started this company called Encanto Sports Group, which is what we have Shad under our wing now. So, what she basically saw was a hole in the market where these elite level athletes, equestrian athletes, were kind of moving into more of the mainstream sector, and they were kind of like professional sports athletes where they needed media coverage and sponsor management. And in order for them to do what they do at the high level, they needed someone to manage all that and take that off their plate. So that's what she did or does. And she got her first client was a guy named Boyd Martin. He's a US eventing athlete, an Olympian
Hmm.
for US Team USA. So she started out with him. We still have him. And then as she kind of grew in 2023, she called me and was like, "Hey, I know you're doing the Western thing. I know you're around, but we work together at US Equestrian and I'd really love your help." So around 2023, I got on part-time with her, and then it kind of turned in from part-time to full-time. And as she got more clients and we kind of branched out into the Western industry a little bit more, we had a reining client, and then eventually, I don't know, my work somehow landed in front of Shad, and it was really weird. It all started out with a DM. He DM'd me one day and was like, "Social media manager?" question mark. And I was like, it's really that easy? It was that whole thing, it was that easy. And I was like, yeah, let's hop on a call. And so we had like a 20-minute phone call, and the rest is kind of history. So he's been our client since May of 2024.
And you just came off a hectic 10 days at the NFR. What
Yeah.
were you doing there and how was it?
I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off for most of the time. So pretty much the entire 10 days, it was me and two other gals. It was Taylor, and then a gal named Jenna Petrahoy. And all three of us were pretty much either following Shad around at signings or at the rodeo. And we were producing all 10 of the YouTube videos that you see on his channel. So, um, we manage his account from top to bottom. Everything you see that goes out usually comes out of my brain or my computer, my camera. So yeah, that's what we were doing, following him around the whole time, capturing every moment, and from sun up to sundown. It was amazing. It was so much fun, and We had a really great system. What we would do is one person would stay back and at the hotel and edit all of the content from the day before so it could get out that night. And then the other two would either be photographing him at signings or filming him at meet and greets and stuff like that. So, and then we'd all go to the rodeo at night and come back with him. So it was a lot of Shad. That is my life. It is a lot of just like following Shad around with the camera, which is really fun.
And this maybe will connect to the last question, but which of your many videos is your absolute favorite and why?
I would say probably the hype video that we posted it on Shad's account the day before the rodeo started. Maybe it was the day of. Probably that one. Or I did a really fun like recap video of his whole season, which got posted probably around November. Yeah, those ones are probably one of my like two of my top favorites, but really the ones that like take the most time and like just I sit there and I look at the screen and it takes me like days to make these like 30-second videos. It's really crazy. I see it, I know what I want it to be, and it's just kind of like putting little puzzle pieces together until it feels like something you want to watch over and over and over again. Because you're like, oh, that's so cool, or oh, that tells such a great story. So those really mentally challenging videos are definitely my favorite.
I'm sure that's very satisfying as well to see the work come to fruition, and especially a hype video where you're trying to get people excited about Shad at the NFR. I'm guessing that you probably feel that hype yourself once you watch the final video.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I don't feel that hype or I don't get that like feeling of like, oh, that's so cool, I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, that's not good enough. I gotta go back and do something different. So,
Yeah, I can kind of relate to that on a totally amateur level. I created a highlight reel for myself because I'm doing this mental performance coaching.
mhm.
And when I watch my my highlight reel, which is just like chops of iPhone video, I get really darn excited about it. So
Yeah.
I can imagine that that hype is super important for you.
Yeah. No, that's really awesome. It's definitely exciting.
I know that you work with very high profile clients like Shad Mayfield. Do you ever produce videos for shooters at shoots? And if you do, how can people find out where you're working and get a video made by you?
Yeah, so I do a lot of my work in Arizona where I mostly shoot. I don't travel a whole lot for my shooting just yet. I'm hopefully going to be traveling a little bit more in 2026, but I usually post on my Facebook where I'm going to be. For the most part, it's going to be mostly in Arizona, and then I am planning to be at Winters and Vegas because those are like the two closest majors to me. So
Mhm.
you can definitely expect me to be at Winters. I'm kind of in the process of reworking my packages a little bit. I did shoot in Vegas and um, CMSA kind of let me know that I a little bit impeded on the 3-2-1 action agreement that they have. And so I need to get with them and figure out like what the parameters are going to be. And so my prices and my packages might look a little bit different, but yeah, for the most part, I just try to keep it simple for me as far as editing goes and then as affordable for other people. So that's where I'm going to be next is winters for sure.
And how do you navigate actually shooting, mounted shooting yourself and
Mhm.
shooting video at the same event?
So for the most part, for the jackpots in Arizona, the organizers are really, really great about either putting me at the beginning of the draw or it's usually going to be the end of the draw so I can shoot as many people up until maybe like 30 or 40 out so I can get on and warm up and do all the things for the most part. And then at majors, unfortunately, the classes that are kind of like after and before me kind of miss out. So like the level ones and obviously the level twos I can't shoot. So
Mhm.
that's kind of how I navigate it. But it's pretty easy. My horse is so easy to warm up and Laura, my trainer, she's really great about helping me get ready super fast. And so it makes my job super easy.
Well, let's move into some questions that I ask everybody who comes on the podcast. What is your favorite shoot each year? Which one don't you miss and why?
So I haven't done a ton of traveling, so I don't have a ton of shoots to go off of, but Vegas so far has been my favorite one. That one's definitely amazing. I mean, I travel to South Point so many times throughout the year just because of like work and stuff like that, but to be able to
Hmm.
shoot and like compete at South Point, it's just like amazing. You know, the atmosphere and I'm a really nervous person when I shoot and like the butterflies that I get when I go into South Point and I'm about to go shoot, it's just like totally different. But I will say, I think there's a shoot that could be my favorite. I haven't gone to it yet. I've been waiting since I started shooting. And it's the Tombstone, Arizona shoot.
Hmm.
And I'm the world's biggest like Tombstone fan, obviously.
I noticed that.
Yeah, so that movie, since I was a kid, it's super nostalgic to me. You know, my dad and I would watch it on like Friday nights and we'd get pizza and it would be like, okay, well, what movie do you want to watch? And it's like, oh, Tombstone. And so my whole life since I was probably like 13 years old, I've been a massive Tombstone fan. I watch it almost every week. You know, my husband at this point will not watch the movie with me. I'm like, oh, let's watch Tombstone tonight. And he's like, yeah, you're on your own. I even have a Doc Holliday quote on my chinks, my amazing chinks that Rochelle made me. And so I think that would definitely be one of my favorite shoots. I was so excited to go this year. I was totally looking forward to it more than any shoot all year, but they canceled it because of
Hmm.
the virus. And so that
Yeah.
was kind of a bummer. But that could be my favorite shoot, I think.
I think you're going to love that one. I did that
Yeah.
one last year, and if you love Tombstone, the movie, you're going to love that shoot because you get to do the trail ride up into Tombstone, which is just really unique and cool. And then, getting to visit the town and spend time in the town. And then the shoot itself is just really well organized. It's a really nice arena. It is a really good fun shoot. So you're going to love that one this year, 2026.
I am not missing it. I am not missing it. And um, yeah, I was so excited and I was so bummed. Like I was so excited for that shoot. I think the dates for that shoot backed up to the NFR when I was gonna leave for the NFR. So I was gonna leave on the second and I was gonna get home from that shoot 2 days before. And so I was like, I don't care if I have like one day to rest. I'm gonna be all packed up and be ready for the NFR, but I'm gonna go to this shoot. And it didn't happen. So I was really bummed. But this year we'll go.
Yes, this year for sure. What about your favorite win and why?
This one's pretty easy for me. So in Vegas, I won the ladies single A eliminator, and that was just a really unexpected win. It was probably one of the greatest nights of my shooting career for sure. I remember being super nervous. Like I said, I'm a nervous shooter, but I was sitting in the loading area and I physically had to just like put my hand on my chest and be like, okay, you are gonna have a heart attack if you don't chill out. And of course, my horse Roy, he's just like calm as a cucumber. He doesn't even care about anything going on around him. I'm so lucky that he doesn't like feed off of my nerves. Um, but yeah, I was the second callback, and I was just gonna go in there and like try not to fall off my horse from passing out. It was unexpected that I even was the second callback, and so I went in there, I did my thing. I'm pretty sure I blacked out. And then when I got out and I saw new fast time, I just like every emotion just hit me and I just started crying. I was like, oh, like I did the thing. I was remember being like so proud of my horse and like so proud of myself. And um it was just an amazing moment. Like everything that I've been working towards and like all the hard work and all the everything, it just was all into that moment and it just felt super amazing. And again, it was like so unexpected. So
You were on fire. I watched that run and you were on fire. And what an arena to do that in, given your experience in that arena shooting, video shooting other events. That arena must be pretty special to you and mean quite a lot to you. So to be
mhm.
able to have that achievement in that arena it must be, I can understand why that's your favorite one.
Yeah, it was a super meaningful moment. I mean, just like everything about that night, I remember in my victory lap, I found my good friend Tammy in the stands, who's just like my number one hype woman, my cheerleader, and then I get off my horse and the mic didn't work for my for my interview, but I was totally fine with that. I was actually really nervous for the interview too.
Hmm.
But I was like, okay, it's fine, that didn't work. And then I remember finishing my interview. I shook a few hands and then I saw Laura, my trainer, holding my horse, and her and I just made eye contact and we both just like started crying and we hugged and we just like cried, and it just felt like a moment where it was like it was more than just my win. It just like felt like
Hmm.
we kind of shared that win. Because she does like so much for me. She's amazing.
The first of many, I'm sure.
Yeah, I
Well,
hope so.
who or what has been instrumental in your success? And this might be horses, it might be people, it might be strategies.
Yeah, I would say the most instrumental person is definitely my trainer, Laura Frazier. Um, she's just like from the moment that I said that I wanted to start shooting, she has provided me with everything I've ever needed to succeed, and honestly more. For the first like year of me shooting, I like to joke that the only thing I really owned was the horse and the saddle. She let me borrow her chinks, her guns, her holsters. She would give me ammo. She drives me to every practice and every shoot. She just taught me to haul a horse trailer this year, and so really just everything I've ever needed, she has provided me, and she's such an amazing trainer. You know, when I first started, I think she only had a couple managed shooting like people that she was training, me and my friend Bridget. And now it just seems like every time I talk to her, she's got a new level one client that's like, oh, I want to try shooting. And she's like, oh, I'm going to bring a new person to practice who just got started. And I think it's so amazing. You know, she deserves it. She's a great trainer. She's great with people. She's great with horses. And she's been absolutely just like instrumental. I would be nowhere without her. And then definitely my horse. Oh my God, like I could probably talk for 4 hours about my horse. I love him so much. He has really taken the sport and just ran with it. And he's amazing. He's just like the best horse. He's got a fan club. You know, people love Roy. And whenever I go to shoots and I'm just walking around by myself, they're like, okay, well, where's Roy? Like, do you have him? And I'm like, yep, he's at the trailer. You know, he's gonna do his thing. And he's got the most heart of any horse I've ever ridden in my whole life, you know. He's just honest and he tries and he's sturdy and he's super fast, which was really unexpected. And he has taken me just further than I ever thought I could go in this sport. And pretty much my success is owed to him for sure.
And I think he's probably got the speed to take you all the way up too, which is quite unusual for a horse, right?
Yeah, no. And when I first started, I was like, oh, you know, he'll probably take me to like a level three. You know, we'll see how he does. And when I first started, I didn't think he'd be as good as he was because you know, he didn't handle the best and I never really worked on stuff like that. And God, he handles so well. He's just learned how to use his body. And again, that's a huge testament to Laura. She works with him and I so much on just horsemanship. And yeah, I'm sure a level six could hop on him and just take him all the way. You know, he's ran times with me that have gotten me in like the top 10 or the top five. And there was a pattern at Vegas last year. It was the last stage and I went in there and I missed one balloon, but I had like a 10-second run. And I was like, oh my God. And the whole time I was watching the rest of the shoot, and that would have been the fast time for like 200 riders. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm loading a whole new horse on the trailer. And I had so much confidence, so much more confidence leaving that shoot. And I have a ton of confidence in him. And now I need to find that confidence in me.
So everyone knows you as a mounted shooter and also for your fantastic videos. But what's a little known fact about you that the mounted shooting community might be surprised about or might not know?
Um, this is kind of a hard one because I'm a pretty open book online. I have one that's more about my horse than about me, but I knew my horse's grandsire like long before I knew Roy even existed. So growing up in Oregon, I had a trainer named Terry White, and she was a barrel racing trainer, and she had a small breeding operation with this stud named Tough and Busy, and he was just the most gorgeous buckskin quarter horse with like super dark dapples and like gorgeous long mane, and he just threw the most amazing offspring that were just sturdy and beautiful and good-minded. And so I was about 10 years old. And so when I was learning to ride, I was learning to ride on all of these like tough and busy horses. And that was in Oregon. And then fast forward 15 years later, I'm in Kentucky and I'm scrolling on my Facebook and I see this horse pop up that's like, what tough luck. And, throughout my whole life, after knowing that stud, I'd always look at the papers and be like, if there's any iteration of tough and busy, I'd look at it. And sure enough, he was a tough and busy grandson. And so I went and looked at him, and he was just the picture of every horse that I'd ever ridden when I was growing up. And, as soon as I swung a leg over him, it was super nostalgic. And he was exactly like I remember all these horses to be. And so, I bought him immediately. I was like, this is him. This is the horse for me, and the rest is history. So he's super duper special.
It sounds like that was a meant to be moment as well.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, I had no idea that he would even take me to the places he's taken me. So it was definitely a perfect moment.
What are you excited about in 2026?
Oh my gosh, so much. I mean, 2025 was an amazing year for me. So I'm like, how can it even get better? But I'm excited because I know it will be.
Mhm.
Career-wise or work-wise, we have some new clients on the horizon that we're kind of starting to lock down pretty early on in 2026. At this year's NFR, we had some connections happen, and so we're getting the ball rolling on some really exciting clients in the rodeo space. I didn't want to give away too much because it's not like set in stone yet, but
Mhm.
I will just say a pretty prominent rodeo family has approached us, and so we might be taking on um, four new clients starting in January. So that was a big one. And then also I met Haley Kinzel in person, and she's like a person that I would love to have on my client roster. So hoping that'll maybe happen. And then 2026, I just have a lot of shooting goals. Like I said, I have a new confidence in my horse. And so I'm like, I know I have the horse. If I can just keep my head on straight, I have confidence in myself that I can and reach some big goals I have for myself.
Well, I'm wishing you all the best of luck with both your new clients and with shooting in 2026. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Winter Championships in Arizona because I will also be there.
Oh, yay. That's awesome. Yeah, it'll be great to meet you in person.
Thank you so much, Taylor. It was really good to get to talk to you and get to know you a little bit better. After we finished talking, I went ahead and binge watched all of the Shad Money Mayfield YouTube videos, and you did such a fantastic job. So well done. If there are balloon killers you would like to hear interviewed, please email me on balloonkillers@gmail.com. That's balloonkillers, all one word, at gmail.com.